Hi there, and welcome to Studio Jakarta EE. Today I have Edwin here with me. And Edwin, please introduce yourself and maybe describe how you are involved in the Jakarta EE and the Microsoft communities.
Yeah, hello, my name is Edwin Derks. I am employed as a software architect at Ordina in the Netherlands. I am involved in the Java community, especially focusing on Jakarta EE and microprofile, providing a lot of talks, sharing, advocating my experience with these frameworks, also inspiring developers to pick up these frameworks to build their software with. And I also like writing a lot of articles, blogs, and everything I like to do in the community.
Yeah, and you have your EclipseCon t-shirt on. So
Yeah,
that means you were at EclipseCon last year. Are you
yes,
planning to attend EclipseCon this year? It's a virtual event, so you don't have to go
yeah,
there this year.
yeah. So I had a talk in 2018 and in 2019. In 2019, I even had a workshop on Jakarta and microprofile. This year I will be visiting as a visitor. I don't have a talk, but that doesn't make it. Yeah, I like to go anyway because there's a lot of stuff to share and to learn about everything that has been done the last year. So I can encourage anybody to visit the conference, even if it's virtual.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be happy for that promotion. So later this year, actually on November 20th, we are releasing Jakarta EE9. And what do you think this release will mean to you and the community at large?
Yeah, so this release is more of a technical release. A lot of cleanup has been done from Jakarta EE9, 8 to 9 in order to prepare it for Jakarta EE10, where we actually are going to and planning to build new features in, because since Jakarta EE8 there is kind of not really been a feature release, but with the move to the Eclipse Foundation for Jakarta, we are now staging the whole framework to evolve further and leave the baggage that needed to be fixed behind. So I'm really looking forward to this new base for Jakarta EE to evolve it with all the community input that we can now receive.
Yeah, and maybe the most important change is the switch from Java X namespace to Jakarta namespace. Yes. So we're kind of disrupting the industry here with this release, even though we're not delivering any features, as you say. But talking about features then, if we look ahead a little bit towards Jakarta E10 and further, do you have any particular favorite features that you would like to see in the next release?
Yeah, not one, but more evolving on what's already there. Like you have to still have the discussion about should we go for only AGPs or only CDI, which is the quote unquote best specification to continue with. Do we need to merge them? Share features, stuff like that. So more evolve the framework with developer input from the community. What is really necessary and desired. Yeah, from a developer's perspective, because they are the ones that built on these specifications, right? Yeah. Also on JTA and JAX-RS are many desires already collected from the community to put into 10. And I think if you do everything, it will blow up. So I think we need to create a nice roadmap for 10, 11, 12 and further to see how Jakarta will evolve with all the desires from the community.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're mentioning roadmap, because we're just about defining the roadmap for Jakarta EE now. And one of the questions we have there is, how should the release cadence for the platform be? What's important to know is that we want the individual specifications like Jakarta REST you mentioned and the others to evolve as independently and fast as they want. And then the platform can pick up these changes and release in some sort of release frequency. Now we have Jakarta E9 coming out about a year after 8. So with that kind of leading questions, what kind of release cadence do you think would be nice for 10 and 11
Yeah,
and
that's
further?
yeah. Yeah, this is a big question, and I don't really have the answer, but I'm really feeling, based on my experience, one of the reasons Jakarta or Java EE before that, the steady and slow release cadence was never really a big problem, because the platform version provided enough features to do my stuff with everything that was desired. So um, on the other side of the fence, for example, Spring, they are evolving for my customers too fast, because we didn't need all the features that they brought up in that community. So if you ask me how fast should Jakarta evolve, yeah, maybe a release cadence of the platform once a year could be nice. But what do you do with new features in between? Maybe that you can update the specifications already, release them, and that implementations already release for example, Jakarta EE 10 dot something release, because there's a specification updated, and go to a whole new 11 when the whole platforms can upgrade. So kind of how in microprofile it's now being done. Like we have a major release once a year, and then point releases with new features in between. So I feel that there is some midway there, and not going from
maybe
10.
Maybe one way of thinking is that if the platform is being released at a steady pace, like once a year, for example, like you say, and each of the individual component specifications are released whenever they want.
Yeah.
And if one of the specs release some new features and one of the implementations picks it up, it would be treated as, well, it's not a standard platform thing yet. It's a standard within that component. So it could be seen as sort of like the preview feature for next release if it's picked up.
Yeah, so that means that as a developer on a project, you don't necessarily have to update to these intermediate releases, because if you don't need the feature, you shouldn't need to update it in your project, and maybe go with the yearly release and do a yearly upgrade once a year. And if you have a need in between, you can, of course, try out the new specification update.
Yeah. So in your opinion, what is the significance of Jakarta EE, and why do you think the Java community should be interested in Jakarta EE?
Yeah, the value for me, and I hope that others share that, is because you have this platform and you know how to use that. These specifications like CDI and JAX-RS, they are well known in the community, and a kind of a standard that's also being shared outside that, like Spring shares even some specifications. So if you know that base, then you know how to do an enterprise project on a customer, and you go to the next one, you can kind of do the same thing there, because probably the project is kind of the same. You need to build business software. So not needing to learn the same trick over and over again, you can migrate this knowledge to a new project. And because every customer can have different internal setup, like the one customer is maybe doing Oracle stuff and others doing IBM and they're doing Red Hat, you can switch implementations without having to relearn a whole platform. And I think that's really valuable as a developer to get up to speed really quickly.
Yeah, I think that was an excellent summary of why you should get involved in the Jakarta EE community and why you should look at this technology. So thank you very much, Edwin. And
you're welcome.
I hope to see you more in more of these interviews in Studio Jakarta EE, and hopefully when we can get on the road again and travel, we will meet up again at conferences.
You're welcome. Happy to share my thoughts.